Look closely at this model's movement. By 2026, AI diffusion models have crossed the 8K resolution threshold. The fabric reacts accurately to physical momentum. The skin texture uses subsurface scattering to mimic the way light enters and reflects off human dermis. She is entirely synthetic. The technology generates photorealistic human figures that consistently pass blind tests with consumers. But the real friction point for fashion operators right now is the economics. A traditional seasonal fashion shoot requires casting, studio rentals, photography teams, and extensive post-production. That runs anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000. Visual commerce platforms have compressed that entire pipeline down to subscriptions starting around $30 a month. The math practically forces adoption. An average mid-size fashion brand can save millions annually by shifting to generated imagery. Yet, as brands attempt to capture these margins, market reactions are proving highly unpredictable. Technical capability is no longer the barrier. The systems work. The core challenge you have to navigate today is brand alignment and strategic implementation. When Balenciaga launched its Fall 2025 campaign featuring AI-generated models, the fashion press erupted. Critics labeled the imagery as soulless, and consumer backlash was immediate and intense. Within 48 hours, the brand walked back the decision entirely. They had to scrap the campaign, absorb the PR hit, and pay to reshoot everything with human models. While everyday shoppers browsing mass-market catalogs often don't notice or care if an image is generated, high-fashion consumers demand a specific emotional resonance. This quadrant chart maps out exactly where AI makes sense. We measure the product's price and prestige on the horizontal axis against the viability of an AI-only approach on the vertical axis. Basic, seasonal items from fast fashion retailers land firmly in the high viability zone. But as you move toward the $5,000 coats and heritage pieces, AI viability drops aggressively. Applying algorithms uniformly across your entire catalog risks eroding your brand equity. You have to evaluate your specific product tier and adopt a rigid, customized blueprint. For mass market and contemporary brands handling massive seasonal inventory, the strategy is clear. You funnel your basic catalog SKUs through visual commerce platforms like Reworks. Retailers taking this approach are seeing a 60% reduction in time to market compared to traditional photography workflows. That speed translates directly to sales. It allows high-volume operators to abandon quarterly schedules and refresh their catalogs monthly, staying instantly responsive to shifting microtrends. There are trade-offs. You accept a slight homogenization of your brand's visual aesthetic, and you occasionally encounter minor rendering errors on complex, highly textured fabrics. For high-volume e-commerce, the operational speed and the millions saved in production costs heavily outweigh those minor losses and unique styling. The calculation completely flips for hyper-luxury houses. Brands like Chanel and Gucci face massive temptation to replace human campaign models with avatars to cut costs on high-ticket items. When a customer pays $2,800 for a handbag, they are paying for the mythos of human hands creating something precious. Luxury creative directors operate on the principle that their campaigns require human vulnerability. An algorithm generating a perfect image breaks that spell, leading to the consumer perception that the piece is hollow. You might save $100,000 on a single campaign shoot. In exchange, you chip away at the heritage and storytelling that allows you to charge luxury margins in the first place. For the hyper-luxury tier, applying generative AI to consumer-facing hero content actively works against your pricing power. Some brands bypass traditional catalogs entirely by building owned synthetic ambassadors. They use 3D rendering and generative adversarial networks to create virtual influencers like Lil Miquela. The appeal here is pure scalability. You control an ambassador who works 24 hours a day, requires no travel budget, and is entirely immune to physical fatigue. A single virtual influencer can appear in multiple global markets simultaneously, fully customized to speak the local language and wear region-specific fashion. But you risk hitting the uncanny valley. If the avatar acts too perfectly, or their manufactured relatability feels contrived, consumers disengage. You also introduce unique PR vulnerabilities. When virtual influencers are programmed to interact with sensitive social issues, like Calvin Klein's campaign featuring Bella Hadid and Lil Miquela, audiences can quickly perceive the interaction as exploitative or queerbaiting. Virtual influencers trade human physical limitations for infinite scale, but they introduce extreme, unpredictable volatility to your public relations. A middle ground approach is the hybrid model. Brands pay real human models and celebrities for their likeness, creating AI digital twins to generate scaled visual variations. Nike utilized this method for their 50th anniversary campaign, analyzing past footage to create a digital simulation of Serena Williams playing against a younger version of herself. This strategy maintains a degree of genuine emotional connection and human recognition, while still leveraging the rapid iteration speed of generative AI. To execute this safely, you have to adhere to the stringent 2026 Code of Practice guidelines governing the model industry. You must secure explicit written consent to process biometric data. You must implement rigorous digital rights management to protect the original creator's intellectual property. And you must apply transparent consumer watermarking to all generated content. Digital twins offer excellent storytelling flexibility. They just shift your operational burden away from creative production and directly onto your legal compliance teams. The most successful brands in 2026 deploy AI as a production multiplier rather than a wholesale human replacement. When you frame AI as an internal efficiency tool to speed up workflows, retail data shows a 40% improvement in consumer reception compared to positioning it as a creative alternative. This decision tree breaks down your adoption strategy. Your execution route is dictated entirely by your primary value proposition: volume and price, heritage, or innovation. If you compete on volume and price, start your pilot in month 1 by routing 20% of your basic catalog clearance and new arrivals through AI generation. In months 2 through 4, you take the capital saved from automating those basic catalog shots and funnel it directly into high-quality human photography for your top 10% revenue-driving hero items. This hybrid timeline protects your premium brand positioning at the top of the funnel while capturing transformative operational efficiency in your catalog. If your brand sits in the hyper-luxury and heritage tier, your rule is strict. Restrict AI entirely to behind-the-scenes applications, like internal mood boarding and technical design visualization. For the heritage-defining imagery that lives in magazine spreads, runway shows, and brand archives, human talent remains absolutely irreplaceable. If you are exploring the innovation branch with virtual influencers or digital twins, your priority is brand safety. Ensure airtight biometric data consent and strict legal guardrails before publishing a single frame. The operators who treat AI as a nuanced, context-dependent tool, deploying it strategically where it excels, will build massive, sustainable competitive advantages. The technology is fully ready. But if you view it as a blind replacement for human creativity across the board, you will inflict irreversible damage on your own brand equity.